Well, the third test has just concluded. There's a lot not to say here, and there's a lot to be said as well about this game. 15-15, if you haven't tuned in to it already, if you haven't seen the result, that was the score at full time. 15-all. 1-all. 15-all. Draw. Drawn series. Is it the worst result possible? It's hard to feel either way about this result. Positive or negative. They didn't lose. Neither side won. It's one of those results, isn't it? Who would have thought? I mentioned way back at the start of the first test that a friend of a guy I work with said he put just a small bet on the series being tied 1-1. Obviously, the Lions would have to win a test, which they did the second one, luckily. But who would have ever thought the possibility of a test match being drawn, albeit the third, was even possible? He's probably a very happy man right now, because I'd say he would have made an exceptional amount of money. But it's a draw. A draw during a regular season round robin like in Super Rugby is one thing, but a draw in a third test decider of a 3-match series where it's 1-1 is possibly the strangest thing ever. Now, I wrote down some notes about this match, some things I thought were key about what happened during the game. I don't know if I'm going to mention too much, but we'll have a quick look over about the match and where it was, well, I can't say won or lost, where it was all tied up and who took the advantage. But the draw. I'm keen to know what everyone thinks about a draw in this circumstance. Now, a round robin, like I said, draw in a competition is, okay, average, we still grab a couple of points, whatever, let's move on to next week. This is always going to be in the record books as a drawn series. Still no one's beaten the All Blacks at Eden Park for God knows how long. That still stays, but it's a draw. It's strange, isn't it? It's weird, it's different. It's very odd feeling, it's very strange. You don't feel happy about the result. You don't feel disappointed about the result. If anything, you probably feel a little bit more disappointed. I'm kind of going on a bit about this because it's really strange. It's not something you experience that often in a match. I'm talking about rugby, especially football. You know, they have allocations for that. They have penalty shootouts, extra time. Is rugby's time to start thinking about that sort of thing coming back to the powers that be? Should there be extra time? I mean, Rugby World Cups have extra time in playoff matches. Sure, someone has to win that, but does someone have to win a Lions tour? So there's a lot to think about here. This has really opened up a whole new thing that we all have to think about now. On this match, you've got to say you're a bit disappointed. I think both sets of players, fans, and everything in between will be a bit disappointed. Even neutrals will probably be a bit disappointed because it's always good to say, yeah, that team did just that little bit better, and did they deserve, yes or no, to win? Obviously, over that full match, the All Blacks should have won that. You can't question that start. They should have been up by 20 points in that opening half an hour. So many chances butchered. Savea threw a couple away. A lot of chances went bigging. The Lions, their back three hardly featured, did they? 15 on 15. Liam Williams was pretty ineffective. Anthony Watson, you know, he's great on his feet, but he still kind of went sideways with most of his plays. And Elliot Daly just didn't get the bounce of the ball at all for the Lions. The Sexton Farrell thing worked quite nicely for them. They seemed to create a bit of space, but ultimately that shifting defence of the All Blacks seemed to always have that covered. Back the other way, the All Black mistakes definitely let them down. Once again, Beauden Barrett's kicking, he missed a couple that would have ultimately again changed this result. Beauden Barrett could have easily made this series 3-0, but as it is, it ends 1-1. So, you look at this game and you say, is there someone to blame? Are the All Blacks as good as they think? Are the Lions as good as they think? On another day, you know, another result. Who knows what could have happened? Should have we had a fourth test? How does this get decided in future? Ultimately, yes, Barrett's kicking wasn't up to standard, but he is the one. He took the ball to the line a lot more, and given a catch or two being howled back the other way, the All Blacks could have won this by 15 points. On the same token, the Lions probably didn't have as many, or anywhere near as many chances at all, but the options they still did have still could have given them an opportunity to score tries and possibly win the game as well. The goal kicking from halfway, Elliot Daly, that is a hugely big factor for England and the Lions in the future. But it's one of those games, you've got to say, if you're looking at it fairly, I think the Lions definitely were the lesser of the two sides, but defensively, they were good. Again, second week, third, you got to say the whole tour, defensively they've been pretty good. Overall, defense has been good. The All Blacks just didn't quite have that finishing ability that we've seen from them from years gone by. So the All Blacks, it was their game to lose, and they drew. So again, you can't use those old adages anywhere near this game at all. But that's all initial thoughts. It's very confusing. It's very odd. Is losing worse than a draw? You don't feel happy or sad about this. All I know is that I pre-recorded a game to follow that. And no matter what result I put out, it's a draw. How do I follow that up? So this is it. This is my little post-match thoughts about this game. Very strange, very odd, very, very interesting as well. So from the start, from the get-go, the All Blacks could have had this game put away. From the start, the Lions throughout the series have started the better team. Definitely the stronger side, fast starters, and put the All Blacks under pressure. Today, not the case whatsoever. The All Blacks dominated massively. Possession throughout this game, possession was dominated by the All Blacks, I think, around the key parts. But both teams throughout the match, I think, had key areas and key times where they had possession for a long period, and that is when the teams couldn't score. The Lions had chances where they were inside the half of the All Blacks, inside the 22. Mistakes. On a dry night, the best night for running conditions, they made errors, mistakes, silly things. The scrum battle, might as well talk about that now. It was epic. Neither side really dominated the other. Both teams had their moments. I've got to say, Kyle Sinclair is going to be a huge star in the future. The All Black scrum, though, definitely punched far above its weight. Throughout this whole series, many expected the Lions to dominate them in this area. Didn't happen whatsoever. So scrum battle, even, both sides had tit for tat there and getting an advantage over that game. But the start was all the All Blacks. So many chances blown, and you're watching this game, you're going to, sooner or later, sooner or later they're going to score one, then they'll score two, then bang, bang, bang. It'll all stick. But the Lions, to their credit, they stuck to their game plan. And they held the All Blacks out, and then they came back with their own play. Not as effective, but they got in the right areas of the field, and they took three. They went back, they started again, got to the right areas of the field, took three. Back to square one again. Get to the right areas, make them into mistakes. The kicking game that's been talked about so much throughout the series didn't really feature at all. It kicked a lot, but both teams definitely dealt with it quite nicely throughout the game. The first half was definitely an All Black game plan where we've seen lanepalp hammering a lot of ball through that inside channel, through the halves, through the likes of a Sexton as well. It worked to a degree. I thought the All Blacks definitely set piece looked more dangerous. The play, broken play, looked more dangerous. Every area, I think the All Blacks were definitely a notch above in most places, but it's that constant possession that the teams just couldn't put it one way or the other. And while we're here, we might as well talk about it now. Jordie Barrett and lanepalp. Both of them, I think, a huge future. Jordie Barrett, fantastic. Did he put really a foot wrong throughout that game? High balls, he was so good. Chasing, so good. Open play, so good. He put that ball on Barrett's chest and scored a try on debut, as did lanepalp. Both, I think, we'll be seeing a lot more time in an All Black jumper. I think finally we can forget about George Moala. I think Figatoa made a decent impact when he come on, but he just didn't have the time to really get into the game. I think he's definitely one for the future as well, if he stays in the country. But lanepalp was good, and I think on that same aspect we're going to see more of the likes of a Vince Arceau in the future as well. Jordie Barrett, I mean, how many good fullbacks do we have now? Ben Smith, who's he? Now, we haven't even seen him since that opening half of the game in Test number 1. He might have made a difference, it's experience, it's things like that. But looking forward now, the All Blacks have 2 years to prepare for their next big thing, which is Rugby World Cup 2019. Players like Jordie Barrett are going to go into that World Cup with, I don't know, 30 test matches to their name. And they're going to be looking nice and set there. A bit of experience, a bit of, getting used to that style of play. Mape as well is going to build into that role. I thought he was good. Made a couple of drop ball errors, but who didn't? I mean, in that contact era, there was a lot to and throw from both sides. So both teams definitely had their chances to do something special. But I think Jordie Barrett is definitely a star. You cannot rattle these Barretts. Beauden Barrett, his kicking's not great, but it's not because he was rattled. He just isn't a great kicker. But how long will it be before we see Jordie Barrett all kicking for the All Blacks? Beauden, concentrate on running. Concentrate on your field kicking. Jordie, you kick the goals, son. That's what the future is for the All Blacks. Where does Ben Smith fit into this? He's just signed on and he is easily the best fullback going around. Where does Jordie Barrett fit into that little group? Now we've got no Aaron Cruden. What a bizarre way to leave. What a 100th test match for Kieran Reid as well. A draw as well. Cruden, last game for the All Blacks. He's had some heroic moments. He had none here, did he? His whole test series has been fairly average from Cruden. So this is a bit of a ramble. If you haven't worked it out, we've just finished the match up, and I'm just going through some key points throughout the match and how I feel about everything as well. So if you want to put your comments down below in the comment section as well, we can talk about this. It's going to be a couple of days before we really sit down and go, this is what this game is all about. So we talked about the key things, the debutants and all that sort of stuff. It was a tight game at halftime, and as I'm recording this, I'm just watching the teams have their photo taken sharing the trophy. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. But looking at these pictures that we're seeing right here, right now, we've got to say these sides, it was played in pretty good spirit. We got a bit messy, got a bit nasty in that second test, but overall, it's the Lions tour. It's big, it's huge. You know, we see all these people coming over. It's got to be in good spirit. It's got to be great. It's got to be fantastic. And what a series it was as well, going right through to the end. So the second half, I think a key moment in this half was Jerome Kaino's yellow card. Now, we saw a number of decisions here in the second half that were very dodgy. The high tackle, they got a penalty. That got wrapped around his shoulder. I thought that was a terrible one. The forward pass from, I think, Anthony Watson to Daly, or was it from Daly to Watson? Something like that. Watson was involved somewhere. I think he made the pass. Forward pass was called. It looked pretty flat/backwards to me. So there was a lot of dodgy calls both the ways in the second half. But that yellow card, even the Northern Hemisphere commentary team said this is exactly the same as Sean O'Brien did last week. If he can't rule that, he can't rule this. Yellow card. Inconsistencies is what is killing this game at the moment. Things like that make a big difference as well. Overall, the Lions only picked up one penalty goal late on. Big difference in the end of the match as well, wasn't it, when the scores were tied? But that's a decisive moment in the game. Plenty more decisive moments happened as well when Elliot Daly dropped a ball right on the touchline. They gave the All Blacks, from their own 22 to an attacking chance in the 22. That was another decisive moment. But again, the attacking plays weren't finished. And that is where I think ultimately the All Blacks did not win this game, rather than anything other than that. The All Blacks should have won it. So many more attacking chances, so many drop balls and butchered away chances to score. And like they said in the commentary, the team that takes their chances will win this game. The All Blacks didn't. The Lions had next to nothing. Really, their only chances to score were shots at goal, and they took them. So credit to them, they took what was on offer and they took their core game plan as well. So that's why they are in that game. The All Blacks should have easily put this one away of tries. We've seen it from them throughout this whole series. They started off all right. First test, they looked clinical, but it all fell apart, didn't it? And now they've got a lot to think about. Going back to Super Rugby and looking at the Rugby Championship, it's going to be a huge tournament for the All Blacks if we're going to see what this team is made from. There's going to be a bit of a change around the grouping, if the likes of a Crotty was there, so many injured players, how is this going to affect the future of the All Blacks? It's going to be a very interesting season this year as well. Going through the rest of things in that half, we talked about the scrum battle already. It really intensified in those final 20 or so minutes. The bench, the All Black bench hasn't been that effective. It's something we talked about in the last 20 minutes. They go from that gear to that gear. Haven't seen it this season. Haven't seen it at all. And if anything, the Lions matched it point for point there off the bench. Courtney Lawes come on, had a decent game. There's a lot of toing and froing with Warburton and Elwyn Jones. The Lions use their bench a lot earlier, and with a lot more impact as well. Ben Teo, I thought, could have been a danger to that game because he can break a game open, but he even passed the ball as well, which was a surprise, but didn't have that same impact. It was more the forwards, the likes of the Lords coming on, especially was the big one. CJ Stander on at halftime as well. Definitely gave it a bit more of a punch to that back row out and open play as well. We talked about it at the start, but it went throughout this whole game. Long periods of possession and control. The match didn't result in points, in tries, I should say, but that was really where the game should have been changed, won or lost. Big attacking chances. Both sides defensively were amazing. The Lions conceded a couple of tries, but their defense was still pretty good, and they stuck to it. They didn't get flustered. Back to square one. Territory, kick the goal. Back to square one. Territory, kick the goal. Repeat, repeat, repeat. They did that, and that is what kept them firmly in the game. If the game was going to be decided anywhere, I thought someone was going to make a really big error or someone's going to have a moment of brilliance. Geordie Barrett almost had it in the 82nd minute or whatever it was right at the end. That was a contentious end as well, wasn't it? There was about 20 players with bodies all over the floor, right on the touchline. Do you let it go? Do you try and get a result? Who wants a draw? You know, it's really strange. Another thing near the end that could have changed this result was that offside from the kickoff. Accidental offside. We talked about it on Twitter. It's something that will be debated forever. Is it an offside? Is it accidental offside? Is it a full arm penalty? Is it a short arm penalty? A scrum? It was started off as a straight arm penalty, and the All Blacks could have kicked that goal. Well, it was Beauden Barrett, so possibly kicked that goal. No, Cruden was on. Cruden would have kicked that goal, and it could have been a 3-point difference. And then we would have had a really exciting final 2 minutes with the All Blacks in the lead. Could have changed the result exponentially. But he changed his mind back to a scrum penalty. But then again, the All Blacks still couldn't pierce that to the try line. So many chances gone begging. Both sides, opportunities knocking. Lions took 3. All Blacks butchered 5. It is a game of two contrasting styles. I think this game really showed what the teams we expected them to play like. The All Blacks with a lot more width. All Blacks going for tries. All Blacks going for, you know, the big plays. The Lions, they played what we expected, like I've said a couple of times already. Step 1, territory, kick. That's what we expected from them since they arrived in the country, and I think that's what they played out today as well. And it kept them in touch, it kept them in tow, and the pressure come on, and we end up with a draw. A slight disappointment, wasn't it, really? The Lions back 3, ineffectual. Liam Williams did make a couple of errors, I thought, at the end, which could have really decided this match. Didn't happen at all, and it just petered out, didn't it? The All Blacks, plenty of chances right throughout this game, couldn't put it away. Lions 15, All Blacks 15. What did you think of this match? See, I've just watched it, and I'm really confused. We've still got interviews and stuff going around at the moment. It's just such a nothing result. You notice when that final whistle went, there was nothing. It was like the stadium was empty. It was so bizarre, because neither side wanted to cheer, but neither side could boo the result either. It was one of those really perplexing things of World Rugby. Is it time to think about extra time, penalties, or penalty shots, you know, to the side? Something like that. A tiebreaker of some description for rugby in series like this. Do we want to see another 1-1 series? Are you happy with the 1-1 series? I'm not too sure just yet. I'm not happy. I'm disappointed, because I thought the All Blacks should have definitely won that game. But it's strange, isn't it? I really don't know what I want to think about this game. Very odd. The whole series, great series that it was, but no one really goes home happy, do they? No one sits on the plane happy. If anything, the Lions can say they come to New Zealand and they didn't lose the series. That's got to be a positive for them, for sure. It was 15-all, series tied 1-1. Lions tour is over. That is my initial thoughts. It's straight after full time, and you know, we've still got stuff going on here on the screen with the players wandering around. No one really looks happy. No one really knows what's going on. You can talk about key players. Jonathan Davis, I thought, was outstanding for the Lions. I think he was a big standout throughout this series for the Lions. He was their best player, and forwards and backs definitely stood out throughout and was a real danger with the ball. I think the All Blacks have to be disappointed. The more I'm thinking about this as I record it, they've got to be disappointed. They should have definitely taken this series. Sonny Bill, he's going to cop some crap for this. The All Blacks are going to cop some crap for this as well over the next few weeks as well. And the next season is going to be very interesting. A lot of changes, A lot of interesting factors. It is going to be an interesting 2017. This is good for World Rugby. This is good for World Rugby because, you know, it's got to give the belief to other sides. The All Blacks, though, they need to pick up their game if they're going to get to that same level that they have been in the past. So that is where this gets interesting now for the All Blacks. Rugby Championship awaits. The Lions, they're done for 4 years. We'll see them again in South Africa. What'll be 2021? That's a long, long way away. We'll see a vastly different side from what we've seen in New Zealand this year. But that is going to be interesting. What is going to change over the next 4 years? Give me your initial thoughts on this series, of this match as well. I think I'll be back later on and I've thought about it a bit. Might try to get a guest or two on to talk about how this series has been for them over the whole 6 weeks or so. If you'd like to see that, let me know in the comments below. Give the video a thumbs up as well, as per always, and just let me know what you think. As you can tell, I'm a bit perplexed about this result, but I'm interested to hear what everyone thinks about it as well. So, as always, thank you for tuning in and watching. I'll see you all very, very soon for more action from the fields of rugby. But until then, I'll see you all next time. Take care.